back, everyone, to the Let Go, Let God podcast. I'm your host, Erika Ray, and I have my co-host here.
And I'm Kaden, her husband.
I wanted to see how you would respond.
I was like, I'm not going to give me an introduction.
I wanted to see what you would say if I called you my co-host. I thought you'd be like, ooh, co-host.
Honestly, it didn't register because I was waiting for you to say, like, husband or Kaden. And I was waiting, and then I was like, oh, you said something completely different. I'm Kaden. Yeah.
Yes, this is Kaden, my husband. Maybe he'll be co-host one day.
Maybe.
How would you feel about that?
I don't know. Maybe. So far, this is your thing.
Yeah.
And I don't want to impede. So I don't know, maybe. We'll see.
You're not impeding, you're enhancing.
I'll see how I feel about it.
Oh my goodness. No, we'll see how you guys feel about it. We'll let you make the decision. If you like him, let us know.
Yeah,
if
I don't
you
like
don't,
that.
don't let us know because his feelings might be hurt.
Yeah, I'm like, I got some sensitivity, so maybe leave that to yourself.
So we are back with part 2 of going over hot takes. We have our bowl again of the different hot takes that we were doing last episode. We still had some left and we ran out of time, so I added a couple more so that we could have a full episode today. And I think there's 10 in here, so our goal is to get through all 10
We'll
for
try.
this episode.
We can try.
So we're just going to get right into it because no need to waste time. And I'm excited. I've been waiting for this episode to record, so.
Do I get to start it off?
Yeah, you could start it.
Yes. All right. She has really good handwriting. It's really fantastic. That's not sarcasm. It's really nice. I just have to compliment it. Okay. Waiting on God is sometimes fear in disguise. Probably, depending on the circumstance. I don't know. Maybe there's some of those people that want to. I don't know. I feel like I haven't met many people that do this, but I definitely think it would exist where you could just kind of use that as a cop out. Like, I don't know. I'm just kind of waiting for God to tell me what to do or something like that. And if they're not being active at all or something, I feel like I've heard of that maybe. I don't know.
Have you ever done that?
Probably. On the spot, I have to run through examples in my head. Have I done that? Have I done that? Probably.
Yeah. These are hot takes and also the hot seat, so.
Yeah.
Who knows what questions I'll ask you.
It's like when you put your friend's seat warmer on without telling them and you just wait for their reaction. Well, my butt's hot.
That's never happened to me before. Actually, no, that has. It's actually nice. It's like, ooh, it's warm.
Yeah.
I don't even question it.
Yeah, well, you have no sense of heat in your body as it is, so.
Yeah, I'm always cold all the time. I think something's wrong, actually.
Probably you have a medical condition.
It's like 78 degrees outside and I'm wearing a sweater.
Yeah.
And
it tracks.
It's cold in here, so. Anyways, I would say waiting on God is sometimes fear in disguise. Yes, I think so. I think I've been guilty of this. Sometimes I'm like, oh, well, I'm just waiting for God to tell me what to do next. And there are times I'm actually waiting, but there's other times where I'm like, I don't really want an answer yet, so I'm just going to ride this out as long as I can. And I think that it can be a dangerous spot if you're not being aware and discerning, because then you can just end up waiting your life away. And that's definitely not what God wants, so.
What's that story of, I don't think it was actually a book in the Bible, but it was like that guy that was on the island and he was like stranded there, like, oh, God's gonna save me. And then some dude goes by in a boat and he's like stranded on this little, as his house is sinking, or he's on like an island and it's like flooding and he's like, God's gonna save me. And then a guy comes by in a boat, hey man, do you need help? No, God's going to save me. And like all these different things come by that are opportunities for him to get saved. He eventually dies, goes to heaven, and then he's like, God, I was waiting for you to rescue me. He's like, I sent you a boat. I sent you all these things.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of that.
Different. So I think you have to look for all the signs, because maybe you're waiting for something and then God's giving it to you, but it's not the way that you thought it would be. So that was a good example. Good job.
auditioning for my co-host role.
Yeah, this is your official audition.
Yeah.
So,
Be on my best behavior.
next hot take. Being strong isn't the same as being healthy.
Oh yeah, no, they're not the same. I guess if you read it first, you can answer first. I'll let you answer first.
That's okay. You can go.
Okay, I'll answer.
To
That's
rest
like the
my mouth.
person muscling through something. This
Yeah.
trying to be strong. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like you're putting on a facade or you're hiding behind like strength. I don't feel like you're really, it's not doing yourself any favors if you're not being healthy. I mean, they don't go, you would think they go together, but to be healthy it could look totally different. And honestly, being healthy at times, in comparison to strength, maybe that might make you, it might sound like weakness in a way. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, and to be healthy, maybe you need to rest. Maybe you need to relax more and not do as much at times. I don't know. It's going to look different for people.
Yeah. I think that there are stronger people out there. Like, there's stronger people than me out there. There's stronger people than you out there, physically, mentally. And so I think that it can look different for every person. I think that something could hit me and really affect me differently than it could affect and hit somebody else. And I think that other people can handle different things at a different capacity well. But I do think that those people that are like, no, I'll just power through, like it eventually does catch up to them in,
Yeah.
and it can catch up to them in different ways. Like it might not be a breakdown, but it might be a burnout in some way. There's just different ways that that can show up. So I think some people are made to handle more and they can actually handle it and move on. But I think the person that is never dealing with anything, that is not strong, that's just unhealthy.
Yeah.
And it'll eventually catch up to them.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's necessarily good for other people to see either, because imagine if we had a kid and every time we faced a problem, we were just like, we're just going to be strong and get through it. It's okay. And we didn't actually teach the child how to properly work through it, because God gave us our emotions for a reason. And so why would we not exercise those appropriately?
Yeah.
And then the kid would grow up being like, well, I just saw my mom and dad. They were always okay. And that could be not good.
It's a facade.
Do you remember whenever we first started dating and it was like 3 months in and you were like, do you just never have any problems? You always seem like everything's fine. Do you remember telling me that?
I don't.
I just remember it was a couple months in. I think like 3 months, and you were like, do you just not deal with things? Because I just didn't tell you any of my problems. And then I finally cracked, and then I told you all of my problems.
I guess I mean, I don't remember
long
like
time
it
ago.
being a breaking point like that, but
It wasn't like a moment where I just told you everything. It was like, oh, then I finally told you one thing. And then,
and just the can of worms came with that.
yeah. But I just remember.
I think I don't know.
I just
I don't know
remember
if I remember
initially
that.
I would not talk to you about my problems. And I remember like I would deal with things and then I would be like, I'm not telling Kaden this because I need to figure it out. He doesn't need to know
Healthy,
because,
strong, but
that
not
was
healthy.
me being strong
Yeah.
because of things that happened in my past of being scared to tell you.
Yeah.
But I just remember you did say that to me. I mean, it was a long time ago. But I remember you said that to me, so I was like,
Yeah, I guess I don't really remember that too much.
that's okay.
Confidence often comes after obedience, not before. Confidence often comes after obedience, not before. I thought it said obedience because it has a little like antenna above the O,
Yeah.
so I was like,
Sometimes I squish my letters together.
you can take this one first.
Do you
have
not
to
understand it?
No, I have to think about it.
Okay, I think when I first read this hot take, I was like, oh yeah, for sure. Confidence comes after obedience, because I think it can come before or after, but I think that a lot of the times it comes after we accomplish something, because think about how, I don't know, I guess I could put it in your terms. Maybe think about a time that you had a really big test to take in school, or you were doing like a new procedure for the first time. And initially you're probably feeling nervous and anxious because you've never done it before, but you go in doing it because you know you have to do it. And then afterwards you're like, I feel good about that. Like I've noticed you come home and you're like, I nailed that. Like I did good. And even if you didn't, you come back knowing more than you did. So then you have a new confidence of like, okay, I could do that again. This is what I would change, kind of a thing. And so I think that a lot of the times it can come after obedience, after something that you're supposed to do. And if you're looking at it in a godly perspective, I think obviously God calls us to do lots of different things, and we don't feel equipped, but with him we are equipped even if we don't feel like we are. There's a lot of biblical examples of that, like David, Moses, all those people. And I just thought about like Daniel in the lion's den. He's just like, all right, I'm gonna go in the den, and then he's like, oh, I didn't get attacked by the lions. So then he probably felt so confident after that.
Hopefully, probably.
But I think sometimes if you practice something a lot, you can feel confident and ready to go into it. But I think a lot of the times it will come after you actually do the thing.
I was almost thinking as this in a more on the before side, but like not being in it. That's not being a good thing. I'm thinking about my younger years of
Oh, like big
like
head confidence?
yeah, being more arrogant and cocky about something like, oh yeah, God, I got this, or not. I think I'm thinking of multiple times in my life where I did not put my reliance in God, or it was kind of like a step aside, I've got this type of thing, and it wasn't a false confidence. It was definitely like in my brain, I was truly confident, but I definitely those situations never panned out well for me at all.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that, so that's a good way
Yeah,
to
like
put it.
it's one of those things where I almost think I have like a humbleness after being obedient, but it was my crappy confidence beforehand that then made me obedient, and then I was humble after that. But
That's a good way to look at it, because I think that that is a very common thing that happens as well.
yeah,
I think sometimes we can practice something in our own strength and feel really good about it, and then we go and do it, and sometimes it works out, but then other times we fall on our face and then we're humbled, like you said. And sometimes it does work out, but then eventually it's not always going to work out. You are going
no,
to fall and trip if you're not inviting God into that. So
yeah,
I think you could look at it in both ways, but I feel like we get the best confidence from God. It's not from actually like doing and practicing something. It's a mixture of both, but I think ultimately letting his hand be on that, because if he's going to call us to something, we can feel confident that he's going to see us through no matter what that looks like. And maybe
yeah,
the seeing through is failing, which is hard to deal with. And that's a
yeah,
whole other
yeah.
thing. But
That's hard.
okay. Next one.
You notice that I'm pulling the light ones and you're pulling the pink ones. That's not intentional, but it wasn't on my end.
I'm intentionally pulling the dark pink ones.
Fair
I
enough.
think they're prettier.
Okay.
If you're not watching, you should watch. It's more entertaining when you get to see us react with our faces. Kaden's like, no, don't watch.
You can listen.
Yeah. The lighting quality for this episode's not very good, but we got to work with what we got, you know?
It's fine.
Yeah.
We're comfortable.
Yeah. I was telling Kaden before this, I'm like, maybe if more people subscribe and like and comment and donate, then I can get a podcast studio.
A studio, yeah.
Or a room.
We just have to turn the room into,
Yeah.
which we could easily do that. We can get chairs, cool
But I
chairs,
kind of
and
like it on this
microphones.
couch. I'm such a simple gal, you know? Like, then I'd have to go do a whole new studio. Maybe like some cool microphones. I like those microphones that are like on the stand and then you can move them
They're
around.
like a big arm, and then you're like talking
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah. That's what I would invest in. But these ones are fun because you can
They're
take them
fine.
on
They're
the go.
just little fuzzies in your neck.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay. You can deeply love someone and still not be meant to marry them.
yeah, probably. Definitely. You can definitely. It's the deeply love someone that throws me off. But I mean, I think, yeah, you obviously can love someone and not be, what did you say?
Meant to marry
Meant
them.
to marry them. Yeah. I know you could kind of bring in the one subject of,
That's a hot take right there.
yeah.
There's only
Yeah.
one person out there for
No,
you.
that's nonsense. That's nonsense. You are compatible and it's a choice. And I feel like that's like a harsh reality. I'm putting a whole flip on the question.
That's
I
okay.
feel like that's a harsh reality that people, at least that I came to, I don't know. I feel like in college there's parts of me that thought there was like, there's someone out there for me, or like there's that one out there, but that's not, there's way too many people out here for that to, on this planet, for it to pan out that way. I think that you
Yeah.
realize more and more like this is a choice. Like in our marriage, I choose, you choose me, I choose you daily. It's much more, there's more to it than just like, oh, there's just the one out there for me, and then we're just gonna be like great. Like I don't believe that. And so to try to reel it back to that actual question though, you definitely can love somebody, but yeah, that doesn't mean you're meant to marry them at all. Because, I mean, you can, if you're not careful, you can easily like kind of start to fall in love with somebody, but it could be in a toxic way too, and you definitely shouldn't marry that person. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different spins on this that you could go, I think.
I think when I think about this question, I think about those two people that are good, godly people that date and then they don't end up getting married. I don't think I've never experienced that. Like, the other people that I dated were Christians, but they weren't really pursuing God. And so I've never had an experience where I dated someone and was like, man, like they were really just after the Lord until you. So it's like for me, I kind of think like, couldn't you make it work?
Yeah.
but but it's hard because I don't know, like I've never experienced seeing like two godly people pursue each other and then they just don't decide to get married. Have
My
you?
sister and one of her exes, they dated in like all of high school, and they were both Christians, and everyone thought they were going to be married. They both had a good relationship with the Lord, but it was like, it came down to like a personality kind of thing almost.
Yeah.
And they're young. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
I think
like
there's
they're,
so many factors because I'm not saying I agree with this statement. You can deeply love someone and still not be meant to marry them because I don't think that you should marry someone just because they're a godly person.
or
Definitely
just
not.
because you love them slash think you love them.
Yeah. I think
Like you have
that,
friends that you love,
yeah.
but it's weird if they're like opposite sex. Like I'm not gonna go tell like female friends of mine like I love you, but they'll be pound off on you.
Yeah.
Like they'll be more of a friend for you,
Yeah.
and or like collectively, but like a double dates, you know, like some very close friends of ours. I don't think we usually say, but like, oh, I love you guys, like something like
Yeah. I
that.
feel like I tell my girlfriends I love them, but
I tell my guy
I don't
friends that.
tell I don't tell their husbands I love them.
Yeah, no, that's weird. Yeah,
I mean, maybe collectively, like,
it's
we
yeah,
love you
it's
guys.
collective.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
collective. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's tough. I don't think that you should marry somebody because you love them and because they're a Christian. I think it goes deeper than that. I think it goes into a lot of prayer and discernment because on the flip side, I also think that you can, like you said, grow your love and attraction and all the things with somebody. But just because they're throwing like this Christian person in front of you. Like sometimes I always think about that because I have single friends and then I think about another single friend and I'm like, ooh, like my initial thought is would they go together? And then it's kind of just like, I don't know, because their personalities might not go well. But
Yeah, no, there's a lot of choices in there just because you love them. Like, there's way more to it than that. Like, are you willing to put up with the baggage this person might have or that
yeah,
person? And like, it's just ultimately like you choose to. Well, there's like some quote, and it's a very pessimistic viewpoint, but it was like you just, you collectively both decide to put up with each other.
yeah,
There's just a lot of different. There's aspects of things like that go into it. It's not that
yeah.
simple.
I do
What?
think age is a big one, like you said, because
Yeah.
when you're younger, 18, 19, early 20s, your brain is not fully developed and you can think one thing and then this is really the reality. I think when you're older and you're intentionally dating, you realize, I honestly feel like you realize that that is not your person before you start to love them. If you're being
Yeah.
intentional and you're older, at least that's happened to me and a lot of my friends. But
Yeah.
obviously, I don't know everything. So there's a
Yeah.
lot of different experiences out there. But I think overall, just because someone's godly and you love them doesn't mean you need to marry them.
No.
So
No, definitely not.
go ahead.
I'm choosing
So
a
yeah,
dark
now I
pink
know
one
how to
on
keep track.
purpose. You can be healed and still triggered. Yes, probably. This makes me think of healing as like healing's a process. So, it's whatever is triggering to you, it can still kind of happen, but I would like to think that you just get better as you're healing. Like healing still isn't going to like make you perfect, or once you're healed you're like now perfect or like immune to whatever it is that is, that the damage was caused from the first place. And there's triggering things that happen, things trigger that, there are things that trigger you. I don't know, I think maybe you get to a certain point through whatever you're healing from where you're not as affected by something. But I mean, I feel like you'd have to give yourself some grace if you're, whatever this thing is and you're healing from it, for it to still affect you in some kind of way, no matter how significant it is. But, that's my first thought on it. But then the second thought could be like, if you could kind of throw a spin on it and think, if you're still getting triggered, are you actually healed?
Yeah,
So I don't know. I'm kind of starting to lean towards that more too at the same time. I don't know.
it's a
What are your
tricky
thoughts?
one. Well, I remember when I first think about this, I remember whenever I was in college, I had this very traumatic thing happen to me, which I have actually shared on the podcast before. You guys can find it on a different one. But I remember I was going to counseling for it, and I was talking to my counselor, and we were talking about how I feel like I'll be healed from this when I can talk about it and I'm not crying about it. And from the time we did start to the time I ended, I am now able to talk about this situation and not cry about it. So a part of me is like, yes, but also I think our weaknesses can get triggered in certain things. Like if you struggled with anxiety, I was just listening to Sadie Robertson's podcast and she said she's struggled with anxiety in the past, but she's overcome it. But she was talking about how that doesn't mean it doesn't still try to creep back in her life. Like
Yeah.
it'll come at these random moments and then she'll, I don't feel like triggered is the right word, but she'll like
Yeah.
start to experience it again. I think triggered is kind of an overused word. Like it
Yeah.
almost feels like a victim word,
It's like a Karen word
honestly.
now, victim, and
Yeah.
yeah, for
Which,
sure.
not to try to make light of that because I've used it a lot and I'm like, oh, I'm so triggered and all of that stuff,
Yeah.
but I'm trying to get better.
Yeah.
So I think you're right about both. I think that with each situation, there is a lot of healing that comes into play. And I think you need to work through that because if someone's saying one little thing and every time you're getting so overreactive
Yeah, you got a
about
problem.
it, then yeah, I think you need to work through
Yeah,
that.
for sure.
But if you're someone who struggles with depression or anxiety and you go through a lot of work and you feel healed, and then maybe one day you just feel down or anxious about something, I don't think that it means you're not healed. I think
Yeah.
it just means like, okay, you're human. You're getting a little down on yourself. What can we do to kind of slowly get out of that? So I think, yes, you can be healed and still get, I
Different
don't
word.
know. I know, I'm like, what's
You
another
can
word?
and still be affected in
Yeah.
ways, or trying to creep in. The way you mentioned what Sadie said is, I feel like that's really kind of
Yeah.
how it really be.
Yeah, because it's unrealistic to be like, I'll be healed when all my problems are gone. Like when I'm not sick
Yeah.
anymore, when I'm not anxious anymore. Like that's not, if that's what you're praying for, like, sorry, but you're not ever going to get that.
Likely not.
Yeah. I
Never
mean,
say
I'm
never.
not, yeah, I'm not God, so I should not say that. But God does say we're going to suffer, so.
Okay. Next.
Okay.
Still only grabbing the pinks.
Closure is often overrated.
I don't know. I feel like sometimes for me, maybe for some people, but me being an external processor, if I've got, I'll think about that for a while if I need closure with something, someone in some kind of way. It's kind of like your closing statements, like if you're talking through something, but like, I don't know, it needs to like wrap up for me. Like I need like closing statements.
Yeah.
And I feel like that it makes you feel better, but also I think closure could, if in that context which I was just talking about, I think specific to me, that I need that, and I wouldn't say it's overrated, but I would say it's overrated, and I'm thinking like those. I've had friends, or just there's that kind of person that breakup's kind of the best example here, where you're like, oh, I need closure afterwards. I was that kind of person. Like, I need closure. But other example would be like the person that uses closure to like keep the door open with like a
Yeah.
relationship that needs to end, and it's in that sense, I don't think overrated is the right word, but it's like you're using it as a weapon almost at that point, or
Yeah.
just to keep dragging things on. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah. I agree. I think there's certain people that do need closure more than others. And I think that with close people in your life, I think that closure is and can be very necessary. But I think it can also be toxic. I think that you don't always have to have closure
Yeah.
to move on and whatnot. I think that if it's really bothering you, you can try to get closure. And then if the other person's not cooperating, then I think at that point you have to just let it go and be like, okay, I tried. Like
Yeah.
if you had a friend or an ex and you were just like, I need closure, like I cannot move on, try to get it.
Yeah.
But also
Yeah.
sometimes they don't always cooperate. So then at that point, are you going to let the lack of closure get in your way?
Yeah.
Which I'm not saying you do that, but I think that's an important thing to look at.
Yeah. It could be like unnecessarily holding on. If you're holding on to closure, yeah, sometimes
Yeah.
it's unnecessary. Like my youth pastor once told me, he's like, sometimes closure could be like writing a letter that you never end up sending, something like that. I
I
don't
was
know.
just listening to that in another podcast that was talking about breakups, which I know I'm not going through that. I just like to listen
Yeah.
to what other people have to say because then I'm like, oh, maybe I can help somebody at this
Maybe
point in my
so.
life. But she was saying, if you're struggling with a breakup, write a letter to your ex, but like get it all
Please
out,
don't
but
send it.
don't actually send it to him.
Yeah.
And so I think that can be good. And also, I just thought about if you have kind of a weird relationship with family, and maybe it's hard because you feel like, oh, I need closure. But I
Yeah.
think that could be another thing where it's like, pray about it, and you might not get the closure you want, but it's worth trying because if you feel like you need that, and if you don't feel like you can continue a relationship without it, then maybe that relationship is supposed to just be let go.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
all these questions really are just so circumstantial too.
They're very circumstantial. Yeah.
But
Doing the best I can.
this is like very broad blanket answers. Ultimately, pray.
Yes.
Ask God for
Yes.
discernment. What were you going to
Yeah.
say?
No, I'm agreeing.
Okay.
I get to
ahead.
go? Back to the peach. I think this
We
is
only
peach
got 4
color.
more.
Maybe it's salmon colored. You don't need a 5-year plan to be on the right path. I agree.
Why?
Because, I don't know, I feel like there's some people that just don't need to be planners and be that organized, and it's like a detrimental thing to them to be that, set out. And maybe this applies to when you're a little bit on the younger side, but you just can't have it all figured out. And you can always shoot for it. Like, I'll give myself a 5-year rough draft idea.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know, maybe in just 1 year. But I feel like it's also so circumstantial. Like, the beginning of medical school for me, like, what's my 5-year plan? Survive medical school. I've been in it for 5 years. Like, I didn't have every aspect of it planned out. And you
Yeah.
could be that person that tries to plan out, oh, like, here's my 5-year plan. And then if you adhere to it or you make a pact with this thing, then you're going to be so disappointed when curveballs get thrown your way. God's going to could have drastically different,
Yeah.
circumstances for your life. So, not to say there's no point in making a 5-year plan, but I just think it's kind of that dichotomy of the planner person and then the just winging it person. And so but there's not a specific way to do it.
Yeah. I agree. Maybe make a 5-year plan and add insurance to it.
What?
You can make a 5-year plan, but the insurance helps.
Are you talking like hypothetical
Yeah.
insurance? Yeah, okay.
I'm trying to make an analogy.
Yeah.
You have a 5-year plan, there's nothing wrong with that, but
Yeah.
you have the insurance to
Okay.
cover you if you get diverted elsewhere.
I have a backup plan.
Or, yeah.
Fair. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think I have a couple thoughts on this. For the past 2 years, Kaden and I have been planning our next year, like roughly planning. Not really planning, it's more so,
Sketched a rough
end of
draft.
year, we go to this park, we talk about our wins for the year, our losses for the year, and then we talk about what we want to keep doing and then the new things that we want to do. And we don't really do a 5-year plan. Honestly, we focus on 1 year at a time.
Yeah.
That's just very overwhelming.
I think you're doing well if you're able to just comfortably
Yeah.
think about your 5-year plan and
Yeah. But I think that's helpful. And then it's funny when we look back on the year and we're like, it's so funny how we thought that was important because it really wasn't.
Oh, yeah.
But I will say, when I was doing sales, they're very, very, very big on personal growth, all the things. So I remember there was all this pressure to be like, what's your 3-year plan? What's your 5-year plan? What's your 10-year plan? And at the time I was like, I need to have a plan. And so I kind of would try to do that. And then the closer I got to God, I was just like, this is stupid.
yeah,
I was
tomorrow's
just
not
thinking,
promised. He says that
yeah.
quite a bit.
And then I would just think, okay, I'm stressing myself out over the future. And again, not that I think a 5-year plan is dumb and you shouldn't do it, but the way I was looking at it was stupid because I'm just like, this is how everything's going to pan out. I'm stressing over like my every move. But realistically, in 6 months, tomorrow, my life could change. So
Yeah.
you definitely don't need a 5-year plan to be on the right path.
No.
Maybe you need
I
some
feel like that's more of a
plan.
boomer thing.
Yeah, maybe.
Sorry if any boomers are out there.
Okay.
Okay.
Growth often feels like grief.
Like grief?
Do you understand?
The first thing that comes to mind is like becoming an adult and grieving childhood.
Yes, essentially, yeah.
Like that. Yeah, I feel that I am grieving. I have
Yeah.
been grieving. The more, you come like college or the first time you start paying rent. That's not that bad because you're still out of, if you're in college, but
Still stings.
it's still, yeah, you start getting bills and the reality of how the world works, and that sucks. That's when you're like, oh, dang.
Yeah.
Or even like people getting married, like grieve the idea of their singleness sometimes, but, or I was talking with my sister about this the other day. They were talking about grieving, even parents like about to have a kid and then grieving not necessarily their singleness, but some of their freedom. I think there's different things you could grieve as you're growing. But I'm
Yeah.
thinking like growth from like physical, like in life. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, Dawn, I'm a better person now. I don't do the stupid things before. I don't know. Sometimes some people might grieve that, but
Yeah. I think you hit the nail on the head. Is that the same?
yeah.
Okay. Why are you laughing?
Because I think you said it before and you were totally not correct, and it was
I
hilarious.
think I said hit the head with the nail or something.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, we'll roll with that. Yeah,
I think that was perfect. That's what I thought because you're gonna continuously grow. Like you said, when you have children, you're growing. We just heard the concept of like whenever you get married, every single year you're basically becoming a new person. Or I don't know if it was every year, but every time you have a big change, you're becoming a new
yeah,
person and your marriage is becoming a new marriage. So whenever you have kids, then you have to die to the old marriage in a way. And not all the things, obviously,
right.
but your marriage will never look the same again. Just like
Yeah, that's wild.
you're about to graduate medical school, and by the summertime, like our marriage will never look the same again because you will never be in medical school again. You will
Yeah,
be,
I almost wouldn't ever grieve that,
yeah.
but
I mean, there's some things we don't want to grieve, but
yeah,
I mean, there could be, I don't know, there could be some perks to everything. So
true, true.
I think a lot of times when we grow, it's a good thing, but we can also grieve the past and what things were like.
Yeah,
So I agree.
my turn.
We only have two more.
Holy cow! If it's always confusing, it's probably not healthy. Ooh, well, um, I don't know. I don't know if I would go to all the extent to say that it's not healthy. What is it? There's just so vague. I'm like,
Anything.
I have
A
to.
relationship, a
Okay, if it's
decision.
a relationship and it's confusing, that ain't healthy.
I always just think of that verse. I think it's 1 Corinthians 14:33. For our God is not a God of confusion, but a God of peace.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's roll with the relationship example. Yeah. If you're confused
Tell him.
and you're not, ladies, if you have a guy that is leaving you confused and you don't know where he's at, guys, if you have a lady that is leaving you confused, and okay, don't just run away if you're confused, but try to get unconfused, try to define that relationship, or at least I feel like if you're when you're heading in a good direction in a relationship, you're there's clarity and you're not just like, let's just see where this goes, because that usually I don't think is I mean, hey, some people have probably been totally fine operating out of that, but if you're legit confused and you're always wondering where you stand with this person, I don't think that's healthy. Speaking more out of like Christian standpoint, with relationships, because we all are working to not just dating for fun or trying to get married, so there it
Yeah.
is taken very differently versus culture and society would absolutely be like, yeah, it might be confusing, but like just see where it goes and don't define anything. Like that's just toxic in my opinion. But
Yeah, I will say though, I agree for sure. I think with confusion in relationships, you have to be very, very careful. But personally, I remember when we were dating, I initially felt very confused. And
Yeah.
I have a lot of journal entries
Oh boy.
that say that, but it wasn't the confusion of like, is Kaden like a good person, or like, I don't know, it wasn't even like about you and your character. It was confusion in myself of like, God, like, is this what you have for me? Because I would just fill my mind with so many like conclusions and
Leave this girl by
assumptions.
herself for 15
Yeah.
minutes to think. Oh,
Yeah, I have a
not
problem
always.
where I will make a lot of assumptions and
Start cooking up a
conclusions in my
storm.
brain. So, and I don't really share them a lot, especially like at the beginning when we were
And
dating. So it's
yeah,
just me and my brain, and then it's like one little thing would happen, and then I'm like, oh, well, what if? And then all these like confusing thoughts would be in my head. But that was not because of you per se. That was
right.
because of me. And I mean, there were things that you did that would confuse me sometimes, and I'm sure there's things I did that confused you.
Yeah.
But the difference was every time I would journal about it. I would journal about it, and then I would pray about it because we were so intentional with our relationship. And I was
Wow.
like, I don't know, I wouldn't be here married to you if I didn't feel like God led me to it.
Yeah.
And I would always pray about it, and I felt like every single time God would always like clear the way.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say that, I think that there's some situations like God's not going to give you crystal clear
Oh
clarity,
yeah. No,
which like pivoting, I mean, in relationships and in other things, because then what would be the point of faith?
yeah.
So I
True.
think if we're not talking about relationships, like if you have to make a big decision, like if you should move or take a job, I think that you shouldn't wait for God to be like, here is your new job on a silver platter, or, yes, you should move to Hawaii. Like, here, I'm going to give it to you in a
Yeah.
dream, because I think that would take away faith. Sometimes he does that. It's pretty cool.
Hey, if you get that clear sign, I'm jealous. Good for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. But I think if something is always confusing and toxic, then yeah, it's probably
Bounce.
not healthy. But
Run.
but I think sometimes confusion can actually be good because it makes you really dial in and be like, why is this confusing? So I think just be curious. If you're confused, get curious. Ask about it, because then it's either going to go one of two ways. You're either going to be like, wow, I actually am getting clarity, which is what happened in our relationship, or you're just going to be like, I'm more confused. I'm more confused. Like, this is just
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
going well.
Run.
Yeah, right. So it's, again, kind of a tricky one, but we're doing our best here.
The final sticky note.
Okay. This is funny because we just finished up some counseling. So the hot take is premarital counseling should be normalized, not optional.
Yes. Totally should. I feel like there's a stigma to counseling, like, oh, I don't want to go get counseling because then you're emitting that you need help. I don't know, something. Hopefully, people aren't still thinking like that, but hey, maybe. I think it's been so helpful, and we've kind of had it twice now.
Yeah,
Premarital counseling as premarital couple, and now a premarital class as a married couple because they allowed us. But
yeah,
it's extra credit. I feel like it just sets you up to talk about things that you might think you talk about or would talk about before you guys get married. There's so many things that come your way, like what's our, especially like finances. What is your budget going to be for gifts for Christmas or for family members? Are we going to get everybody gifts now? And like,
yeah,
there's just like some little nuanced things like that. And then it's so nice to, you know, I think with us a lot of the times earlier on, and it still kind of plays out. If you don't have people that have been there, done that, and you're experiencing things in your marriage, like I feel like for me, it's so easy to think like, oh, we're probably the only ones that ever,
think
at
about
least,
these things.
yeah, yeah, or like I feel like there's so many times you want to be told by another couple like, hey, this is normal, and like to see, with us going to counseling and talking to older, wiser couples with, the years in a marriage together, it's so nice when you can hear them, respond to a concern that you have, being completely unfazed about it.
Yeah,
They're just like, yeah, yeah, all the time. Like, that's totally
yeah.
what I
They're
would
like, that's
expect.
all you're dealing with?
Yeah,
We're
they're all,
like,
yeah,
oh,
right.
okay.
Yeah, no, premarital counseling it's been great. Really it helps to start getting you to think about, it gets you like save your marriage before it starts, the whole Simbas thing.
Yeah.
Fantastic to get you in that mindset before you're actually married, because boy, do you not want to you're going to have a lot of expectations, whether you know it or not, before you get married. And then when you get married, and then when you go on the honeymoon, all of those things, like you have expectations whether you realize it or not, and all of those things. And I feel like the premarital counseling can kind of start to help you see that, so it's not an absolute train wreck when you run into something and you're
Yeah.
like, what is this? Why are we
Yeah.
feeling this way? And we're on our honeymoon. Yeah, it gives clarity.
Yeah. I have a lot of thoughts on that, but it makes me think of a couple things. When you said honeymoon, something that our counselors said to us at the beginning, I think maybe it was at the end of our counseling, but he told us to plan your honeymoon because you might have two different expectations. Like one person might be expecting to go and be out and be adventurous and swim with the dolphins, all the things. And then the other person might be like, I just wanted to chill by the beach and eat and drink. And then when you get there, if it's not planned and you both show up with these expectations, then you're going to clash because it's like, wait, I wanted to do this, but I wanted to do this. So even if you're not big planners, just plan like a couple things per day so that you can have somewhat of an itinerary, because you could still have some days where you're kind of doing whatever, but then at least you're both on the same page with that.
Yeah.
But with this, yeah, I have a lot of thoughts because I think I agree with everything you said. And we did counseling before we actually got married in June, which was great. And then we started going to a new church in January, end of December, and they were offering a pre-marriage slash newly marriage course. And we were new at the church, so we were like, oh, like, why not go? Because we could
Yeah.
get some extra counsel. And
Some
then
extra
also,
credit.
we wanted to start meeting some more people at the church, some younger couples and older couples, and then the people that were leading the class. And we just had our last class today, and it's been great because there's been things that we already knew, but it's actually been interesting too because there was things that we talked about pre-marriage, and then now that we've been married for 7 months or so, it's like, whoa, we've actually like grown from like where
Oh
when
yeah.
we were here to here.
Yeah.
And I mean, they talk about so many things. Like they talk about, like you said, finances. They talk about like your family backgrounds, the
And how it affects you.
yeah, how it affects you, the way that your parents communicated. A lot of it is like what you saw growing up, which is really helpful. It helps you realize more about your partner and then also yourself.
Yeah.
And then finances, they talk about different communication styles, they talk about intimacy, they talk about, there was something else I was going to say that was really good, in regards to it was family background, and then like household duties. I feel like that's really important too, because you might have an expectation of like, oh, like I just expect my husband to do all of the boy jobs around the house, like take out the trash and
Yeah.
handyman, and then I expect my wife to do all the dishes and cleaning. But if you're not on the same page with that, it can create a lot of unnecessary disagreements and whatnot. So
Totally.
I think my last comment to this is, I think if you are about to get married, you should definitely do premarital counseling. If you are already married, newly married, you should still do premarital counseling. If you've been married for a couple years, there's a lot of churches that will offer even like marriage courses or like marriage strengthening courses too. So I feel like
Yeah.
we're probably going to continue to do that. Like our church also offers a reignite marriage course. So probably like, I don't know, in a couple of years or whenever, like we probably would want to just do that to make sure we keep things fresh.
Yeah.
But if you go to a church, there's a chance that your church offers it.
Hopefully,
If
yeah.
you if it doesn't offer it, then honestly you can go to a different church. We actually have people in our class right now that don't even go to our church. Some of them, it sounds like, aren't even Christians, but I think even if you aren't a Christian, I would highly recommend still going to counseling because there's a lot of things in there that you'll still benefit from, even
Yeah.
if you're not a Christian.
For sure.
So, yeah, those are my final thoughts. Anything else with that?
No, go get counseling. Don't be afraid of it.
Well, I'm hungry.
We gotta eat. It's time to eat.
Yeah.
Did we didn't even, I think we ended off the last video talking about eating afterwards too.
Yeah.
Well, whatever.
We eat a lot in this apartment. That's like our biggest expense after rent is our groceries.
Yeah.
So
We like to eat good food, okay?
yeah, we like to
Made
eat
by
clean, healthy.
ourselves.
Yeah, we're gonna make taco casserole, a chicken taco casserole
That'd be great.
right after this. So, I guess that's all.
Stay tuned for the next pod.
Yeah, the next pod is gonna be us going over some
Us, and that's news.
frequently asked questions, FAQs.
Oh,
So basically, it's kind of like hot takes, but more questions. So we're gonna go over those. So it's kind of the same vibe, but different. I'm thinking we'll do 2 episodes of that, and then I don't know, might switch gears after that. I'm not really sure, but these episodes are so fun.
they're fun.
So I hope you guys have a good week. Like, subscribe.
You gotta say it like all the YouTubers do. Like, comment, subscribe, or smash that like button. Get all those in there.
Let us know. Let me know if you like Kaden on the pod.
Yeah. If
If
you
you
don't ever
don't,
want to
don't
hear my
comment.
voice again,
He doesn't think that
well,
people like him on
don't
the
say
podcast.
anything. Just leave it alone. And I'll let your silence speak.
I'm gonna tell your family to watch this and comment.
Yeah, they're all
That
going to
they
be like,
like
oh my
you.
gosh, wow. He was okay.
No. They'll love it. They
Yeah.
always love it.
Fantastic.
So, anyways,
Cue that outro
we'll
music.
stop rambling. But don't forget to let go, let God this week. Let go and let God this week.
Doesn't even get her own podcast name right. It's
No,
in the
it's-
sign back there.
Yeah, it's kind of small. You can see it, but Kaden made it. I don't know if I ever told him that.
You're really dragging your
Anyways,
outro on.
okay, this is how our conversations go. Like when we're on the phone, and I'm like, I don't want you to leave yet. So then I just think of random things to talk about. I'm like, we're having so much fun.
Yeah, that's for me, not for the podcast.
Okay. Anyways, don't forget to let go, let God. Have a good week. Bye, guys.